Welcome back to the Hero's Journey Project. We are on episode 49, looking at Golden Age comics, working our way through. We're on December of 1944. We're getting very close to the end of the year for 1944, but we have 10 comics from that time. Let's pick up where we left off. We are into the M's, alphabetical order, right, for December. I'm going to share my screen and we will look at 10 comics today. Ready? Hacha, love it, love it. Okay, first up, Miss America, number 3. This is Timely magazine from December 1944. Oh, kind of a fun cover. This one isn't like a photo like the last one was. So in this issue, there are 2 Miss America stories, and that's up from there's only one in the last issue. So in the first story, Miss America tries to beat King Cobra to the bomber plans that are sewn into the pouch of a goldfish. I don't know goldfish anatomy. Apparently they have pouches. Somehow bomber plans were sewn into the pouch of a goldfish that was just swimming around. I don't know how that works. Miss America tracks down the embezzler of a trust after he killed his niece to cover up his crimes. That's nuts. All right, so let's have a quick look to see what kind of things there are in this fun little Miss America magazine. I feel like a teen girl reading this magazine sometimes. So here's Hollywood's younger set. This is great. So you get like some kind of candid photos of some very young people. So yeah, Shirley Temple there, looking a little older than little bits I've seen her in movies and stuff. Jane Withers, I don't know her. Gloria Jean, right? And her mom. Anyways, that's kind of fun. These are kind of fun things to get to see. Really it is like a team. It's like the original team magazine here. And what goes, right? So here's a bunch of showing fashionable shoes of the era, sorry. A little quiz, trying to figure out what do you wear these with? What shoes do you wear those with? Right? You don't want to. If you think you've got it right, you can turn to page 60. So I'll let you take care of that. Next up, last but not least, this was a story that they put into the book, and it's a story to kind of teach you not to mumble and stutter. So it's kind of like a manners. It's kind of slipping some manners in there, so you don't mumble and stutter. Hey, don't worry. My parents are growing up. If they showed me this story, maybe I would have mumbled a lot less when I was a kid. Who knows? All right, moving on. Mystic Comics, number 3, Timely, Winter 44. Yeah, we're getting back to some more action-packed comics like we're used to. Look at that. Got the angel on the cover. We've got some bondage. We've got, she's in a red top, but I wouldn't say it's red dress. Distress specifically, maybe a little headlighty. Yeah, a lot of good action on the cover there. I love it. People's faces getting smashed. I always love the punch that hits 2 guys at once. So in this issue, this is the first 36-page issue, down from 52 pages. Now, this is only issue number 3, so it hasn't been a lot of 52-page issues so far, but 2 angel stories in this book. The angel finds stolen diamonds from South Africa being smuggled in dry ice aboard a merchant ship. So let's have a quick look at the panel here. So this is where the angel discovers dry ice in the as being smuggled in a tray. Diamonds coming out. I just thought it was interesting set of panels. Nothing too crazy there. Angel, smart guy. After that, the angel uncovers a plot by a newlywed husband to kill his wife and an unsuspecting fortune teller in order to inherit his wife's money and replace the funds he stole from his own company. Nuts. Yeah, he tried to set up fortune teller to kill someone. Anyway, he ended up getting caught. Now, I thought this was interesting. So, okay, you've got this panel here, right? Two guys fighting. This guy figured out that it's just the angel, figured out that this guy wanted to have his wife offed. I just thought it interesting that if you look, it's the foreground, but if you look on the background, back kind of left, there's a shadow there. I just thought it was interesting. I find it, there's shadows kind of, and even below the bodies there, the guys fighting. It just seemed interesting. You don't see a lot of shadow, especially in like a background image like that. It's just, it would be a throwaway, like no one would even think of it. And I thought it was just an interesting detail that the artist put in there, just that one shadow. I thought it was neat. I don't know why my eye was drawn to it immediately, just to say, hey, there's a shadow on the wall. That's interesting. I was like, all right. National Comics, number 45, December. It's Quality, 1944. These guys, so in National Comics, clearly they're pushing the Barker stories these days, and that's the guy you see on the front. I'm not reading his stories, not really superhero for me, so I'm out. But been reading about Quicksilver. Quicksilver discovers that a large diamond has already been sold, and a fake has been made to take its place, with a robbery set up to cash in on the insurance money. Now, it's interesting. I'll tell you, as I've been reading these Quicksilver stories, like in this story, Quicksilver uses his acrobatic skills in the story, right? Because he's a trained acrobat, and that's his background. But he doesn't use his speed. In some stories, he uses his speed and moves very quickly. His name's Quicksilver. He's supposed to be very fast, and that's the whole point. Like in some of these stories, he's moving so fast, the wind and this and that, people don't even realize what's going on. But in this story, no speed used. Like it's interesting that the artists and writers are just kind of, we don't feel like using speed this time. It's too easy. I don't know. Why not? All right, let's look at a couple things inside the magazine. So I know last time I was showing an ad that had some books in it to show you how to fight and stuff. I just like the tagline. This guy's going to make you commando tough. Not just regular tough, not just, I'm going to stand up to bullies. No, this guy's commando tough. Like this is serious stuff. You show up, for the draft with this book in your hand. No, you go straight past basic training, right to like Navy SEALs. That's it. You're laughing. Here's the splash page from the Quicksilver story. I guess little splash page would be kind of a generous description, considering the large panel really only takes up about half the page. But so interesting. Quicksilver flying in. I just thought it was pretty neat. I was loving it as a flying kick there, especially with the toes. Like you just point your toes at someone. Why not? All right. After that, we have Police Comics, number 37. This is from December. Quality, 1944, right? You got another Jack quote cover. I find it interesting what Plastic Man's doing on the cover. But I don't know. These Jack quote covers, I don't know. They just don't have that pop last few issues. I'd like to see something more exciting. So Jack Cole, step it up. Just kidding. Who? I mean, can you imagine? You're writing these comics. You're like, I just got to get my paycheck. I just got to get done. You wouldn't think that some ding dong on a podcast is going to be, picking apart your work like almost 80 years later. But here we are. All right. So Plastic Man takes down a gang of male thieves with the help of an informant that takes a liking to Woozy Winks. All right. So this is a splash page from Plastic Man. So that's a splash page, full page, one panel, got it. And again, I love these humorous splash pages. I don't know. I think it almost made a better cover. Just more going on, more fun. I love it. I love that. I love the humor. That always got me. Yeah. Anyway, so the human bomb and Eustace Throckmorton stumble onto a mountain with a diamond mine, but some thugs that were there first are not too happy about it. Oh, so this is from the Plastic Man story. I just thought it was fun that the guy in the purple suit with the kind of checks on there, the crosses or whatever, he speaks in alliteration. Here's his handcuffs. Hog tie him helpless. Cheer up, chum. My brain box is buzzing. Penetrating pains. Awful agony. Give me that get. I'll gag out of the guy that guides us, government guest house. Bear down on the brakes, Bob. We're blowing. Lead larps, those lads. Life ain't long in lawlessness. I just thought it was fun. It's fun, criminal guy. And and that's part of the writing in these humor books. That's what makes it more fun, right? That's always thought. I swear that's what got me through my childhood. It's a good time. Okay. Let's get all serious now, right? More fooling. Sensation Comics, December 1944 is issue number 36. I think got a nice H.G. Peter cover. Wonder Woman there. Yeah, it's okay cover. Still like the line work. Just wish the elements were more exciting. Why not? In the first story, so here there's the splash page from Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is captured by a forgotten actor who is taking revenge on public figures by engaging the help of some actors pretending to be Wonder Woman's enemies. So spoiler, all these guys you see in the panel, it's not really the cheetah, it's not really Giganta, it's the guys on the cover, they're not really in this issue. They're actors pretending to be those bad guys. And if you want to see, this is kind of the Rogues Gallery. This is Wonder Woman's Rogues Gallery, right? All the bad guys up until now, pretty much the main bad dudes. Pretty neat. All right, next up, Sargon the Sorcerer tells the story of a war hero that gets wounded and needs a civilian job, then helps him to convince two milk company owners to work together to save tires and rubber. I just thought this was great. I thought this was a great splash page for Sargon here, right in the intro. Just some good art. Reminds me a lot of the war comics from 60s, 70s. Really interesting feel to it. I like it. I really like how it was done. It's well done. After that, Mr. Terrific finds out that a builder has been altering blueprints to save money on city projects, but endangering lives in the process. Don't do that. Wildcat tracks down the man dressed as a woman using poisonous snakes to rob subway token kiosks. All right. It's our Spangled Comics, number 39. It's December 1944 from DC. Another cover. It's okay. So there's two Guardians, and you got the one Guardian that's kind of seems closer to us, I guess. I don't know what's wrong with the shorts. Definitely, they don't fit well. I mean, clearly one of them's an imposter, but I mean, I would say the guy whose outfit doesn't fit well is probably the guy that is the imposter. That's probably correct. The Guardian gets out of his sickbed to help the Newsboy Legion take down a Guardian imposter and his gang trying to steal from a suicide slum benefit. So this was where the kids almost figured out that almost had proof that the Guardian and Jim Harper are one and the same. So because he was sick and he was so Guardian was sick, trying not to talk too much. So he had to get back to his sick bed and he's sweating a little bit, but he's got a. So he said, "Oh, I got the sweats because I'm a little fever. Yeah, it's okay." So almost caught him now, almost so close. Next up, let's see, Robot Man in this one. Robot Man has to seize Professor Rust before he himself seizes up. Right? So Professor Rust got this stuff that he can spray and he'll seize things up and stop mechanisms and works on safes, and they're all like destroyed and don't work properly. So yeah, Yeah, so Robot Man, it's got to figure out a way out of that. Next up, Star Spangled Kid and Stripesy stumble on to the robbery of a perfumery after Stripesy gets picked up for a photo shoot. Yeah, so Stripesy is he got picked up for a photo shoot because he was they wanted an ugly mug to put in the photos. Stripesy kind of let it go to his head for a little bit. Liberty Bell is on a Japanese island with American soldiers when they are attacked by Japanese acrobats in ape costumes. I'm not sure why I didn't include a photo of that. That would have been fun too. That was a fun story to watch, to read about. Why not? All right, Submariner Comics number 15, Timely, Winter 1944. Got a fun cover here. Got Submariner just opening up that egg-looking thing. I assume it's some sort of machine gun type nest, bunker. Love it. All right. Submariner heads to Boston and take down a gang of pirates that are stealing from the local fishermen. And here you go, splash page with the bondage, her dress distressed. Look at that. She even got a 300-pound weight on her feet. I mean, goodness. That's no good. Next up, Submariner figures out that a spurned would-be buyer is the one trying to chase away the guests of a seaside motel. Right? So he wanted to buy a seaside motel. Again, another red dress distress type of thing. Would you count that as bondage? I'm not the expert. I don't know. Submariner is chaperoned for a boat race between two would-be heirs vying to inherit $1 million, and one of them is out to win at all costs. So this eccentric millionaire died, left his money to whoever of the two heirs could get to Florida the fastest from New York by boat. One guy decides to use means that are not about playing fair. And finally, the angel discovers that the owner of a famous ruby had a fake one made to be stolen in order to collect the insurance money. So it's double dipping. Sold the real one, had the fake one stolen, insurance money. I just thought this was interesting. This was from the second Submariner story where the boat race is like I'll reset your dislocated jaw. I thought was kind of interesting. So, Submariner punched one guy in the jaw, dislocated it, and the other guy's just, no problem. I'm just gonna reset your jaw. I just thought it was interesting that he would take the time to do that. Usually, a lot of these comics, these guys get injured. They don't stay injured too long. They take a big punch, whatever. They're stars and birds. Move on. This guy had to have his jaw reset. Ouch. Okay, now this is Superman 31 DC November December 1944. All right, let's get it's November December. I should have put it with the Novembers. The spreadsheet's not perfect. You're gonna have to sue me. I'm sorry. Either way, there are 3 Superman stories in this and a Lois Lane story. Fun cover, sure. Best cover I've ever seen, no. If anyone collects donkey covers, this one's for you, I guess. What do we have? So Superman finds Lex Luthor's massive tuning fork that can cause destruction to buildings and safes. So Lex Luthor shows up as a villain. We haven't seen him in a while. So if you're looking for a fun Lex Luthor appearance, that one is this. And this is kind of the splash page for that first story with the tuning fork thing. You don't even know Luthor is in it, Lex Luthor. Next up, Superman takes down a dog napping ring with the help of Lois Lane's new pooch. A dog napping ring. This story is told from the point of view of one of the dogs, Lois Lane's dog. In the Lois Lane story, she stops a gang of thieves that stole jewels from a movie star. And finally, Superman discovers that a museum director is behind the bad luck of an expedition and the disappearance of a prominent archaeologist. So here's some fun stuff. So these are the steps to saving the day. First move, streaking hand slaps aside the speeding bullet. Second move, race against vibrating sound, travels 1,100 feet per second. Third move, swifter than the sound. Superman reaches the first end. The end is he smacks three guys one punch. Fourth move, racing back in so fast that the air grows hot with the friction of his hurtling body. The fifth move, the monster tuning fork explodes under the impact of his knotted fist. Sixth move, the capture of Luthor. Mostly it's banging his head against his bad guy. And the final move, back to Clark Kent. There you go. Those are steps to saving the day. That's it. That's all I need. I mean, really, this would have been a really short story if they skipped to that part. Now, Superman was about to be attacked by a dog, but if you look in the top right panel, this is the time Superman kicked that dog. Booted the dog. I mean, it's not a cute puppy or anything. It was kind of a vicious dog, but kicked the dog. That did happen. All right, enough fooling around. We're on Wonder Woman, number 11, DC, 1944. You've got another H.G. Peter cover. I kind of like it. Actually, kind of a cool cover. I don't know why this particular cover reminds me of the original series G.I. Joe. This is stuff I grew up on. That's what it reminds me of. This cover brought me back to that. I understand they have nothing really in common. It just reminds me of that. So Wonder Woman recovers secret defense plans against Saturn after Steve Trevor has been hypnotized into giving them up. So Wonder Woman recovers secret defense plans against Saturn. So because if you remember a little while ago, Saturn was invading and Wonder Woman went to Saturn, stopped the whole thing. That was a truce between the two planets, and it's great. So this story, right, is the first appearance. It's the first cover, that's what you see on the cover, and origin of Hypnota. And Hypnota, turns out, is a cross-dressing magician, right? Dressed up like a man. It's a woman dressed as a man and hypnotizes people. Blah, blah, blah. Crazy stuff. So Hypnota, I don't know that Hypnota has, well, look, I know Hypnota does not have a tremendous amount of appearances. It's a dozen, 16 appearances, 15, 16 appearances, something like that. Not a lot. I feel like it could have been a good character based on the story. So here's that's the splash page for the first story, where if you look there, Steve Trevor is on a firing squad. Wonder Woman's on the receiving end. Well, Steve Trevor is holding back his gun, so look at that. And then, so there's 3 stories in this issue, but they're all about the same. They all really follow through, kind of like a serial, I guess. Wonder Woman is lured into playing hockey at Holiday College after Hypnota has hypnotized the college girls. So there you go. Here's the first time Wonder Woman has ever been in skates in a comic book, certainly in continuity. There you go. Playing hockey, comic book, wearing skates. Look at that. You've seen it all now. And Wonder Woman avoids a war breaking out with Saturn when Hypnota is revealed to be the real slave smuggler, right? So Hypnota was trying to hypnotize people so she could sell slaves to Saturn. So she was a slave smuggler. This is the splash page from the third story. Looks very similar to the cover, right? Bending the gun backwards so the dude operating the big cannon is going to shoot himself. All right. Last but not least, World's Finest Comic number 16, DC Winter 1944. You have another kind of wholesome cover for World's Finest Comics. I guess, these guys are out just mountain climbing. But does it seem to me, or does it seem to anyone else, that Batman and Superman are kind of doing little goo-goo eyes at each other while Robin's, taking a tumble? Like, did Batman kind of push him off so he could have a little slap on the back there, so he have a little alone time with Superman? I don't know. It just seems maybe, hey, Robin, go hang out down there. I'm gonna talk to Superman for a bit, Fine. Okay, so here's the Superman splash page. So in this story, Superman helps a would-be songwriter become a big star. You have an appearance here by Wilbur Wolfingham. He was in the story, not really the main antagonist per se. But Superman did help down and out, an amateur songwriter have his music heard so that he could become a big star. How about that? Green Arrow and Speedy figure out that a professor in the same building as a bank has used acid to create another door in the bank's vault. Easy enough, right? Sure. I love how no one noticed how there was another door in the bank vault, but whatever. That's the splash page from that story where all these arrows are firing all over the place. Speedy and Green Arrow are designed to create sort of a net to catch this guy jumping to his death. I love this. This is great. Okay, so you got a guy jumping to his death. And Speedy, look, Oliver, someone is jumping. Whoa, hold on. Let's change into our clothes and then try to save him. So I love it. So this guy, so they had time to look up. They're in the car. The car is in motion. You can see that because a little smoke motion there on the bottom of the car. So they're in the car driving along. They think, there's a guy jumping. So they have to look at probably the exact moment he's jumped. Because if they look while he's, close to the ground, well, it's too late, right? So let's assume they looked at the exact moment the guy jumped. He said, someone is jumping, right? So I assume that means he's in motion. And if you look at if you're reading the comment, I should have showed more panels. We showed the panels. This guy is in motion. He was jumping when Speedy looks up, right? Roy looks up. The guy jumping. Oliver's like, hold on a sec. We got to change into our clothes. All right. We've not a second to lose if we're going to save him. Not a second. You know how many seconds it would take for you to hit the ground after you jump off a building? Not very many seconds. Yeah, not a second to lose. It's literally not very many seconds. So we're going to change. We're going to stop the car, clearly. Change. And then we got to pull out our bow and arrows and fire them off to create this net to catch this guy. I just thought, that's awesome. Okay, moving on. Stop fooling around. Zatara puts an end to the gang renting safety deposit boxes to plant bombs in banks. Star Spangled Kid and Stripesy track the fan inventor that created an air conditioning system that distributes sleeping gas. It distributes sleeping gas. Everyone in the big fancy mansions that can afford these things get knocked out. Thieves come in, take what they want, on their way. All right. Next up, Batman and Robin head to a remote mountain area to put an end to a feud by the McKees and the Chatfields being fueled by this big city gangster. So these guys are having a feud. It turns out there's a isolated factory where Bruce Wayne's a shareholder, and they create lenses for the military. I didn't really specify what kind of lenses, but let's assume that they go on all sorts of stuff. Tanks, planes, I don't know, whatever you want. Guns, I don't know. But some of the people working on the plant are McKees, some are Chatfields, the whole thing. There's a feud going on between, because it's like the Hatfields and McCoys, right? And but these are the Chatfields and the McKees, not the same thing, obviously. But there's a guy in there trying to get these guys to do some infighting so that he can actually steal some of the machines and ransom them back to the company. It's the whole thing. Now this is great. So Batman and Robin are heading out to this mountain area, right? Very isolated, not much going on. When their car's blown up by people who think there's somebody else. So then they're on foot and they switch into their costumes, running around with their suitcases. I mean, doesn't get better than that. I love this. These issues had everything, right? Between, Speedy and Green Arrow, making sure they change before they save the jumper. This guy's running around with their suitcases. I mean, Wonder Woman playing hockey. That's a fun month. Why not? Okay, so here's the recap. Now there's all your issues. Okay, got a Miss America, Mystic, National Comics, Police, Sensation Comics, Star Spangled Comics, Submariner Comics, Superman, Wonder Woman, the World's Finest Comics. And notably absent, right, which I talked about last episode, is there are no Fawcett comics. So it seems like this month Fawcett skipped publishing to give everyone Christmas off. I don't know. There's no December issues. Now I understand they've been written in advance, and like I get it. Thanksgiving off. I don't know what to tell you. Look, so there's 10 issues we have. Got some DC, got some timely, a couple quality. Which one do you think would command the biggest dollars? Now again, I don't choose which one's worth the most. And the sales data on these things is sporadic at best because they're all golden age comics. So a lot of these are pretty scarce and may not come up to market very often. So look, it could be an anomaly, it could be an outlier sale, but I don't judge those. I just go with the data that I can find. All right. So the big reveal. All right. So where do we end up? This was interesting. No recent sales of any of these issues for over $1,000. There were some sales for over $1,000 in different grades, but they were older sales. So anyway, they didn't meet the criteria that I'm using to try to determine. Which you got Submariner Comics number 15, a 0.5 in February, sold for $600. A 0.5. People are paying crazy prices for these books. I hate to use such a low grade sale as the data for this issue, but really it was the most, like, other than that, it goes back a few years. Like I didn't have anything else I could use for this issue to compare. And when I look at other issues from different books, like look, you got a 0.5 that sells for more than most of these books recently, right? You got the National Comics number 45 had a sale in December 2020. It was a 9.6, sold for $780, right? So that one's higher, sure. And then you got a 7.0 Miss America that sold in February 2021 for $795. So there's only two issues that had recent sales that were higher. I mean, I wish I could have shown more. I'm surprised that the National Comics 9.6 didn't sell for more than that. A 9.6 for Golden Age Comics didn't break $1,000. Meantime, you got Submariner Comics at 0.5. I can only imagine what condition this thing would have been in. Was it even presentable? I don't know that. For $600, that's big money people are throwing at low grade books. But I did say that's the most recent sale that I can find. Other than that, it's an outlier. There aren't more recent sales hanging out that I just didn't want to tell you about. They're not there. You have to go back a few years. So is it because this book doesn't come up for sale very often that people want it? I'll tell you. I don't have the answer. It's a rhetorical question. So, okay, you'll look, if you look at the let's look at the Miss America Comics #3 for a second. You got that 7.0 for $795 and put the 2 in parentheses, put the exclamation mark. So usually when I put the number in brackets like that, I'm telling you that there's only a less than 10 on the census, right? So if you look at the national comics, it also has a 2 in brackets, which again makes me think of why that book seems very scarce to only have 2 graded. One's a 9.6, one's I don't know, was a much lower grade, and it sold for only $780. Like you own this book. You have the highest graded book by far of this issue. I think someone got a steal on that. But back to that Miss America Comics. The 2 exclamation point. All right. So I know that data isn't perfect, right? Because I know if someone goes to a show, for instance, and buys a book, that sales data is not going to show up here. If you buy a book off Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji or wherever you're buying your secondhand stuff, any graded stuff clearly doesn't show up, right? So there's a lot of eBay sales and the large auction houses. Fine. So you have to assume there are more salesmen. I get that. But the census data should be accurate. And it's disappointing because I put that 2 in the brackets. However, there are sales on Go Collect in 4 different grades for this book. 5 sales total, but 4 different grades for this book. How can there magically only be 2 on the census then? That's why it gets the question mark. I could put an asterisk, I guess, it'd be the same sort of thing, but really, that's what it is. There's no, the data clearly is incomplete. So again, I'm playing with what I have, doing the best that I can with what I have. What am I going to do? Anyway, that's it. So Submariner Comics, timely book, took it again. Big shocker. Other than that, I guess, the Angel at 2.0 is probably going to be the runner-up. If anything, just because that 560 was getting up there for 2.0. It's is again surprising. Nobody cracked 1,000 in the recent sales, but I mean 600 per 0.5. I mean, it was a lot of money to spend on a 0.5. Geez, I hope he got. Is the cover even attached? Was even there? I mean, if the cover is presentable, maybe that's good. I guess I don't know. I guess Robin falling off the cliff there didn't garner enough too much attention. All right. So that's it. We are fast approaching the end of 1944. We got to the W's. Is there anything left? 1944. We'll get to 1945. Tune in next time. Same bad time, same bad channel. Because I scheduled the episode so that that's how I know it's gonna be the same time. And same channel because you're following this channel. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate your time. Take care. Please comment. It's great to have a dialogue and discussion. I mean, I love talking to Anthony. If anyone else wants to join in the discussion, we can do that too. Thanks. Take care.